I sat beside my husband's hospital bed, fingers wrapped around his frail hand as the machines around us hummed softly. His breathing had grown shallow, and the doctors had warned that the end was near. I pressed a gentle kiss to his forehead, whispered, "I love you," and said goodbye through a voice that cracked with grief and tears that wouldn't stop. After all the years we had shared, this felt like both a heart-wrenching finale and an unbearable farewell. Leaving the room, my chest felt hollow. The long, sterile hallways stretched endlessly, and each step away from him felt like I was betraying him. I didn't want to go, but I had spent the last 3 nights at his side, without rest. The nurses encouraged me softly to go home and get some sleep. I nodded, hoping I'd still return in time to see him once more. As I turned a corner, weighed down by sorrow, I slowed near the nurse's station. I hadn't been over here, but the sound of my husband's name stopped me. Then I heard words that shook me to my core. "He asked for her every hour," one nurse whispered. Even in his weakened state, even when he couldn't open his eyes, he murmured her name. "I know," another replied. "He asked us not to tell her how much pain he's in. He didn't want her to suffer more than she already does." My chest tightened, and I leaned against the wall, stunned. My husband, my dying husband, had been protecting me, even in his last hours, while I had been trying to stay strong for him. He had endured silently for my sake. Then the first nurse spoke again, and my legs nearly gave out. "He left us a letter for her," she said. "He wanted it to be read after he's gone. He told us to keep it with his things." I hadn't known anything about a letter. My heart pounded as I imagined what he might have written in those final days when his voice was faint and his hands trembled. Quietly, I walked back toward the nurses, pretending I had forgotten something in the room. Their expressions shifted from casual to serious when they saw me. I heard a little. I admitted, "Is there really a letter?" The older nurse nodded gently and retrieved a drawer. She handed me a sealed envelope with my name on it, in his unmistakable handwriting. I sat down in the waiting area, hands shaking, staring at it for several minutes before I finally opened it. The handwriting was shaky but overflowing with love. He thanked me for the life we had shared, for standing by him through hardships, for being the source of his joy each day. He wrote that he didn't want me to carry guilt or sorrow, only the memory of our love. And at the end, he made a single request: to live. He wanted me to seek happiness again, to laugh, to breathe fully, and to embrace life, even after he was gone. Tears streamed down my face as I held the letter close to my chest. I had thought I was saying goodbye forever, but his words brought him back to me one last time. In that small, worn piece of paper, his spirit lingered. I returned to his room. His eyes were closed, but I took his hand and told him I had the letter. I whispered my love to him again, louder this time. His lips curved ever so slightly, almost like a smile. I stayed until the very end, never letting go. The grief of losing him was immense, sharp and unrelenting, but the letter softened it. It was his final gift, a reminder that love does not vanish with death. Days later, I framed the letter and placed it on my bedside table. I read it every night before sleep. It gives me courage. It helps me breathe. And slowly, with each passing day, I am learning to live again, just as he had wished.